To break it is an insult. It is a threat and a challenge. Because of all the wrongdoing and injustice that has been administered on us as First Nations people. In our healing, we found the strength to find our way back to a certain connectedness in our understandings of who we are. And I'm compelled because of the Idle No More movement. It created an atmosphere that made this journey possible, a vision that I had some 20 years ago. It's all real now. In breaking this copper, hopefully, it'll connect all of our voices. I am only one voice. I'm bringing you my truth. There are many voices here that need to be heard. Many voices need to be heard. And they must all come together to create one voice that can be heard through these walls. I'm always compelled when I come to this great city, the Queen City, as our people have described it. There's a statue down here in the corner of a veteran from one of the world wars that went over to Europe to fight for the freedom of the citizens of this great land. Many of them sacrificed their lives. Many of them never came home. Many of them were First Nations. We're part of a bigger thing now. It isn't a First Nations thing. Again, I call on all of my fellow men to open your hearts and understand. That's all I ask. That we may come together and be as one, and be good people together, heal together to find our path to righteousness. That's all I ask. It's going to take a while to sort things out here. The ceremony won't happen right away. The Songhees have provided us a boulder, a rock from their territory, sitting right here on the steps. And this is where we are going to break our family copper. I'd like to ask all of the hereditary chiefs to come forward to be a part of this process. I'd like to ask all of the spokespeople for the different organizations to come forward to have a voice today to express the urgency and the desperation of the situation that we're in and offer us some truth and clarity. I call upon my fellow chiefs to come forward, to have this voice. have some friends, some familiar friends that I see in the audience. I'd like to call upon Kakawinche to come forward, my brother. Kayla's Kakawinche.
I've known this wonderful brother since he was really young. In 1977, my family gave a potlatch in memory of my father at our territory, Tlaloquac. And he came with his family and stayed and helped us with another family potlatch at Nitinong. That song, an eagle gave that song to me at Nitinong when I was becoming. In 1970 and 1984, my family and my people, the Tlaloquac, my family and my people, the Nuchanut, we raised a cedar man right here in front of these steps to stop the destruction of our homeland, what people call Tlaquatzon. That cedar man was first carved over 200 years ago in my family when the ships first started to come to the coast, when they first started to come to this area in the 1790s. The chiefs of the village held a meeting about these new peoples coming, because they were coming in greater numbers and coming a little more and more aggressive. So we have to have a meeting. What does this mean? What's happening? 10 head chiefs of that village. And of all the 10 chiefs, my ancestor, he was the third in line. Ahead of him was the Maquina, and there was Calicum, and there was my ancestor, Chorido. He was the one of 10 that foretold what is happening that we are living with over 200 years ago. Said these people are going to come in greater numbers, and they are going to overtake and destroy and kill. And it's a long story because he named all the mountains, the great mountains where the Thunderbirds live. They named the valleys, the rivers. They named all the creatures of the earth and the ocean, the great wells. Named all of them by name because they all had a name and they had to be represented. Said that they're going to kill these as well as our people. And they're going to further destroy the water and the air. And all of this, the people and the chiefs couldn't believe. They couldn't believe it. Because still at that time, those people, to them, seemed small in numbers and ignorant. They knew nothing of the land. They knew nothing of the supernatural. They knew nothing of these things that they were said they were going to kill. How is that possible? But my ancestor, because of the importance of that, and being the only person that stood, he said, we now have to invite the other nations, the tribes of the nation that we now call Luchano, and tell them where we stood today. And I want my master carvers to carve this cedar man to represent me where I stood today. And it was carved over 200 years ago. When I was asked to become a part of the movement in the 80s to stop this destruction, I did not know of this. I don't like to use words like prophecy because of my ancestors' sight. I did not know. I just knew that when I was asked to come home to do something, and I did my ceremony, my prayer, and I saw this cedar man, I said, okay, I've got to make a cedar man. And I went home and made the cedar man. And my uncle, luckily my uncle, Dan David, was a little boy. He was born in 1900 when that cedar man was rotting on the ground. It was brought from Muatraf to Panith in Taipei Sound. It was rotting in the earth when he was a little child, and his ancestors told him what that meant. And then he told me when we're going to make this thing. It had come over 20 years, full circle. It was time to now represent all of us and be raised here. So with still this big full heart, now my brother, my younger brother here, stands with his family and his people. And I'm amazed that I can speak because I'm really overwhelmed with this. And I knew it would be this way. I knew that he would have the support that he has here today with his family and people because he's lived for his family and his people. Tlaiko, Ushem Sachatak, Tlaiko.
Kayla Kessler, Kakawincheth, thank you for those awesome words of truth. We traveled with Sister. She's a scientist. She studies the salmon and the whales. Alexandra, my sister, could you come down? Alexandra Martin. Kayla Kessler.